Today, I want to talk about Bitcoin spot ETFs and their 1 year anniversary. Let's go. Spot Bitcoin ETFs in the United States began trading exactly 1 year ago today on January 11th, 2024, opening up the crypto market to a wider range of investors and paving the way for more such products. So you can see this article on Cointelegraph celebrating the 1 year anniversary of Bitcoin spot ETFs in the United States, passing expectations. So happy birthday to Bitcoin ETFs. You can see here the Bitcoin holding, cake for its birthday, the spot ETFs. The first year of spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US exceeded all expectations, marking a historic debut that reshaped both the Bitcoin market and traditional finance. Following approval from the US Securities and Exchange Commission on January 10th, 2024, US spot Bitcoin ETFs began trading the following day. I don't know if you guys remember when this happened, but this launch was completely butchered. I think the SEC's Twitter account was supposedly hacked, and a day before formally having formal approval, it was, sort of leaked that this was going to happen. And I remember getting a I think it was a coin market cap notification saying that the spot Bitcoin ETFs were approved before this actually happened because the SEC's Twitter account got hacked. Total mess, absolute disaster. But then they launched the next day or two and it was fine. Anyway, ETFs began trading the following day. In less than a year, they have contributed 100% of the 44.2 billion dollars in inflows to crypto investment products globally as of the end of 2024. 44.2 billion in inflows. To mark 1 year since their launch, Cointelegraph reached out to several ETF providers and analysts for their insights into why the US became a global leader of spot Bitcoin ETFs. Now, they were estimating about $14 billion in inflows for the year. So, of course, seeing about 44 billion is about 30 billion more, almost triple than what, they were expecting for inflows. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, I bet, hit 61 billion in AUM in less than a year, while its gold ETF took 20 years to reach $33 billion in AUM. Now, I'm going to read that again. While BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF hit $61 billion in assets under management in less than a year, a freaking Bitcoin ETF hit $61 billion in assets in less than a year. BlackRock's gold ETF took 20 years to reach $33 billion. So it took 20 times longer for half of the amount of money to flow in. Now, of course, there's, inflation and things like that to take into account, but still, I just want to hammer this home. And even if it's a little different adjusted for inflation, the story stays the same. Continuing, best performing ETF launch of all time. So one reason for the massive success, I can't speak today, of US spot Bitcoin ETFs in 2024 was long-running anticipation and demand from institutions to gain exposure without, complexities of self-custody or direct crypto ownership, along with US President Donald Trump being elected. And you could see here a chart since the approval, Bitcoin is up 103%. We can go to James Safart on X with a little bit more of a nuanced perspective. This is inflation adjusted. So, just how big was the first year of Bitcoin ETFs? Massive. Here's a list of the largest ETFs 1 year after they launched. Even if you inflation adjust the assets, 4 of the Bitcoin ETFs are in the top US ETF launches of all time. BlackRock's IBIT, Fidelity's FBTC, ARKB, and I think Bitwise, BitB. So you can see here iShares Bitcoin Trust, BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, launched a year ago today. And this is their AUM, so that's $52.3 billion after 1 year. Inflation adjusted is the same because it's the same year. Now, QQQ, the Invesco QQQ Trust Series 1 tracks the NASDAQ 100, I believe. And in 1 year, launched in 99, they had 18 billion AUM. Adjusted for inflation, this is $34 billion. So when the NASDAQ ETF was launched a year later, adjusted for inflation, there was 34 billion AUM in QQQ. We're seeing Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock IBIT with $52 billion in assets under management in 1 year. Now, a lot of people DCA and blindly buy QQQ because they want exposure to the biggest tech stocks. And it's just insane to see Bitcoin with more inflows than NASDAQ adjusted for inflation in each of their respective launch years. Something to think about. It's just mind blowing. If you see what's going on, this is where the money is flowing and it's not even close. And nothing has launched and seen this much success before, ever. So something to think about. From Ki Youngju on X, also BlackRock's gold ETF took 20 years to reach 33 billion, while their Bitcoin ETF nearly doubled gold's AUM in less than a year. Here's another way of looking at it. This may or may not be adjusted for inflation, but the point still stands. You could see here, it's just not even close. We can see here the top assets by market cap. Gold still has the #1 spot at $18.248 trillion, dwarfing everything else. However, Bitcoin is now the 7th largest asset at 1.87 trillion. And this is after quote unquote dumping from 108,000. Bitcoin is larger than the largest, gas oil company in the world, Saudi Aramco. Bitcoin is also bigger than the entire market cap of silver above ground, along with Meta, Tesla, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. I could go on. Bitcoin is bigger than every company in the world except for 5 of the Magnificent Seven stocks and gold. And if you look at the rate of money flowing in to Bitcoin compared to gold, you can actually see Spider GLD down here, gold shares adjusted for inflation, about $5 billion went into gold after 1 year, adjusted for inflation. So it's only a matter of time. If this trend continues, we see Bitcoin climb and climb and climb. Because if more money is going into Bitcoin, adjusted for inflation, than a lot of these other things historically, and this trend continues, you can see Bitcoin reach the #1 spot and go to 500,000, a million, $10 million per coin. If you guys like the content, please give the video a like. You could share the video, and please subscribe for the latest Bitcoin news. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.